Hoje o podcast está realmente especial, eu acho que vai ajudar a dissolver aí muitas dúvidas de muita gente sobre um tópico bastante quente, ok? O tema principal de hoje será a prática do jejum intermitente. E para falar disso, eu trago ninguém menos do que uma das maiores autoridades no mundo aí sobre esse assunto, que é o Dr. Jejum Fung, que mora aqui no Canadá também. Tanto eu quanto o Dr. Souto, né, respeitamos bastante ele, e nós seguimos o Dr. Jejum há bastante tempo, e é uma grande honra aí ter ele aqui participando desse podcast oficial aqui da Tribo Forte. Nós vamos falar em detalhes sobre essa prática do jejum intermitente, como funciona, tratar das principais objeções e também dar dicas especiais ao longo do podcast, né? Bom, a prática correta do jejum intermitente para emagrecimento é muito, muito poderosa, né? E por isso também o jejum intermitente é uma das 3 partes que eu chamo lá de triângulo do emagrecimento, junto com a alimentação forte e a densidade nutricional, e esse triângulo é a base do programa Código Emagrecer de Vez. Aliás, eu postei ontem no canal do YouTube, inclusive do Emagrecer de Vez, um vídeo com o título, né, de emagrecimento em 30 dias, resultados reais, onde eu compartilho para o pessoal ter uma ideia, resultados reais. E é impressionante, tem muitas pessoas que estão acabando a primeira fase do programa. Então, se você tiver curiosidade, você pode dar uma olhadinha lá depois. Além do nosso papo hoje aqui sobre jejum intermitente, nós vamos também ter o quadro, né, o que você comeu no almoço de ontem, onde nós 3 vamos compartilhar o que a gente comeu no almoço de ontem. Você vai saber o que o Dr. Fung comeu no almoço de ontem também, para dar algumas ideias. Esse podcast está sendo gravado em vídeo, tá? Então, ele vai ser 100% legendado para que todos possam acompanhar. Então, se você está ouvindo aqui a versão em áudio e não está confortável com o inglês, o Dr. Fung não fala português, obviamente, então a gente vai ser tudo em inglês, então vá no emagrecerdevez.com que você tem lá a versão transcrita e também a versão legendada em vídeo. Um lembrete rápido aos membros VIP da Tribo Forte, o bônus do episódio anterior, né, que são as 10 dicas especiais para adaptação à alimentação forte, dadas pelo nutricionista Poliana Freitas, está disponível dentro do portal no episódio número 10 lá dentro. Ok, então a gente está pronto para começar aqui a nossa conversa a partir de agora, e eu vou mudar para inglês aqui a nossa conversa com o Dr. Jejum Fung, né? And to start off, Jejum Fung, together with Tim Oakes, just published a great book called The Obesity Code, and it's available on Amazon and other big chains. So I recommend everyone to check it out. I love it. Dr. Soto love it as well. Great, great work, Jason, and welcome to this podcast. A great honor having you here today.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is great.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. Soto. How is it going?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. It's a great moment for Brazilian health, I think. I hope we can share a lot of good knowledge that can improve a lot of people's lives. So, to hit the ground running here today, to start off, I would like to address the basics of intermittent fasting, and then we're going to move into more advanced topics as we go along. So, we know that intermittent fasting is a very old practice, right? And even today, it's something that billions of people all over the world do every year, mainly for religious purpose, right? So if you listen to this, never heard of intermittent fasting before, and don't know what it is, this practice basically consists in not eating for a limited amount of time. For example, 12 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, 24 hours, 36 or even more. So now, people today are very, very skeptic about not eating for a while, right? Like being without food. They're afraid of not getting food every couple of hours because all of this constant eating frenzy created by the modern world and, let's say, wrong advice that they were giving as well. To get this out of the way right at the beginning here, let's start with this. Dr. Fung, is intermittent fasting a healthy practice?
Oh, absolutely. And what you have to understand about fasting is really it's just the flip side of eating, right? So anytime you're not eating, you're fasting. That's technically all we're talking about, right? So if you think about it, you have to have a balance. Like everything in life, you have to balance eating and fasting. So sometimes you should be eating, but sometimes you should be fasting. Where we've gone wrong in the modern world is we've said that we should be eating from the minute that you get up in the morning until the moment that you go to bed, and the only time we're not putting food in our mouth is when we're sleeping, right? And that's really not a practice that has ever been, you know, part of humanity, right? So it's not like we spend every moment trying to eat. There's lots of stuff to do, right? Whether it's, you know, doing your job or whatever it is, there's lots of stuff to do. So we've always, in the past, kind of eaten in the morning, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's very traditional in North America anyway, right? So if you eat at 7 in the morning and you finish eating at 7 at night, that's like 12 hours of eating and 12 hours of fasting. So that's pretty balanced, right? But now if you eat constantly throughout the day, right? So instead of eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, if you look at the United States, because data is easily available there, the United States in 1977, the average meals per day was 3, so breakfast, lunch, dinner. That's fine. When I grew up in the 70s, if you tried to snack, your mom would say, no, you shouldn't snack, you'll ruin your dinner, it's not dinner time, right? So don't eat. And that's just the way it was, and we all lived like that. Now, if you go to 2005, the average number of meals a day is actually 6. This is in the United States. So we've almost doubled the number of times we're eating throughout the day. So if you're eating all the time, it's only logical that you're going to gain weight, right? But for some reason, we think that it's going to make us lose weight. Well, eating more frequently is going to make you lose weight? How is that supposed to work, right? It doesn't even make any sense. That's the whole problem, right? So what you need to do is you need to give your body a chance to digest and to burn off some of the food energy that you've put in your mouth, right? And that's a normal process. So you eat for 10 to 12 hours of the day, and you fast for 12 to 14 hours a day, and everything is balanced and people do very well. So that's the whole idea. If you want to lose weight, then you can lengthen that period where you're fasting. And what's going to happen when you fast? Well, your body is simply going to burn off some of the food energy that you've put in your mouth. And that's all that's going to happen, right? It's not like you're going to die, right? This is the thing that people say, oh, you're fasting for 24 hours. Well, what about all the times that people, you get busy and you wind up working through, eating breakfast and you skip lunch because you're too busy, right? You've gone 24 hours, you haven't eaten, nobody died, right? We've all done it. In fact, half the time when you're that busy, you don't even notice it. So what's actually happened in the body? Well, your body's just burning off some of the stored food energy. You store food energy as sugar and fat. And you burn some of that sugar, and if you burn through all that sugar, you burn some of the fat too. Well, that's all. That's all that happens. And it's okay, right? We get this idea that, wow, you're going to kill yourself, or you're going to ruin your metabolism, or you're going to do all these bad things. But this is the way that we're actually designed, because, if we weren't designed this way, we would all not be sitting here, because when we were cavemen, there were days, I guarantee you, there were days in the winter, there was no food, you just didn't eat. That's it. And your body lived off your stored food, because that's what fat is. It's stored food energy, right? Mm-hmm. It's there for you to use when you don't have food. So if you never not have food, if you are always eating, you're never going to burn that fat. Why? Why would your body burn fat? Your body is smart. It's stored it away so that when you don't have anything to eat, you have something to live off of. But you always have something in your mouth, right? From the minute you get up to the minute you go to bed. So it says, okay, fine. I won't burn the fat then. And then everybody wonders, why are you getting fat? And this is the thing, that we talk all the time about the foods that we should and shouldn't eat, right? Should you eat wheat, or should you eat bread, or should you eat carbs, or should you eat fat? We talk about that all the time, and for the most part, yeah, there's a few differences, but for the most part, we agree sugar is not very good for you. White bread is not very good for you, right? Most people agree that a lot of these fats are not that bad for you. There's some debate about saturated fats, but avocados, olive oils, nuts, everybody kind of agrees on that, but nobody talks about this whole idea of the whole question of when to eat, because it's okay not to eat sometimes. That's the whole idea. And in English, we have the word breakfast, right? So think about that word. It's the meal that breaks your fast. It implies two things. One, we have to be fasting every day, right? Whether it's for 12 or 14 or 16 or 24 hours. You have to fast every day, because you can't break your fast if you're not fasting, right? The problem now is we're never fasting. We're eating all the time, and then you eat breakfast, but you've never fasted, right? So you can't break that fast.
Right.
And two, the other implication is that you do not have to eat as soon as you get up. You can break your fast at noon. You can break your fast at dinner. It doesn't really matter, right? It's important in that it's the meal that breaks your fast, but it's not the 8 a.m. Meal. It doesn't have to be. If you look at circadian rhythms of hunger, for example, you see that hunger is naturally, and happens in everybody, hunger is lowest at 8 a.m. Okay, and highest at 8 p.m. So if you're not hungry and you are force-feeding yourself like a slice of bread and jam and orange juice, that's not a winning strategy for weight loss, right? You're not hungry, but you're going to shove some food in your mouth anyway. Well, that's not a really great strategy for weight loss, right? You're better off just skipping breakfast or having coffee with a little bit of cream or whatever and going right through till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. And, if you go to the French word for breakfast, it's petit déjeuner, which is a little lunch. The key here being little. So the French understood that, hey, most people are not really all that hungry in the morning, right? So don't eat. That's your body telling you that you don't need to eat, right? And everybody says, oh, I'm not going to have energy. It's like nonsense. Your blood sugar is completely normal. And in fact, what happens just before you wake up is that your body produces these counter-regulatory hormones. So those are hormones such as cortisol and epinephrine and growth hormone. And they actually pump out a little bit of glucose into our system, right? They take the stored sugar that you had from yesterday's lunch and it kind of puts sugar into your system. So your body has already kind of gassed you up for the day. It's fueled you up already. You don't have to put food in your mouth to do that, right? And that's the thing, that it's if you don't eat, it's okay once in a while, right? In fact, all you're going to do is lose weight, right? That's the whole idea. And if you understand that, then you can look at intermittent fasting and say, hey, here's a strategy, a very powerful strategy that nobody is using. But why? We need all the tools in our tool belt to fight this problem of obesity, because it's really hard. Weight loss is very hard, right? Type 2 diabetes, very hard. We need all the tools. You can't just throw out the most powerful tool in your tool belt, right? It's ridiculous to do that and to make up all these reasons why we have to put food in our mouth even though we're not hungry, right? Oh, you have to eat every 2.5 hours. Well, I'm busy, right? I don't want to go looking for something every 2.5 hours, right? Half the time I don't eat lunch because I'm busy and I don't really want to step away. So, it's okay. That's the whole idea, right? And it's some of these modern things that have led to the obesity epidemic, they're just not based on any kind of evidence. They're not based on any kind of historical reality. It's not like we've always eaten every 2.5 hours for the last 2,000 years of human history. No, that's exactly what we have not done, right? We've always just eaten when we're hungry or when it's convenient, sometimes once a day, sometimes 3 times a day, right? But not 6 times a day.
Yeah, it seems pretty obvious